My name is Aaron. Last year, I took a train that shouldn't have existed. I used to work late shifts, so I would usually catch the last metro home around midnight. Nothing strange had ever happened before that night. It was raining. Not heavily, just enough to make everything outside look empty and blurry. By the time I reached the station, there were barely any people left. A few tired office workers. One guy sleeping on a bench. That was it. The train arrived almost empty. I got in and sat near the back. At first, everything felt normal. The usual sounds, announcements, doors opening and closing. After 2 stations, I realized I was completely alone in my coach. Not unusual for that time, honestly. So I just put my earphones in and stared out the window. A few minutes later, the train stopped again. The doors opened, but nobody got in or out. That's when I noticed something weird. The station lights were off. Not completely dark, just dim. Like only emergency lights were working. And there wasn't a single person on the platform. The doors closed. The train moved again. I tried to read the station name through the window, but the sign was flickering. I remember getting a strange feeling in my stomach. The feeling you get when something feels wrong. Then my phone buzzed. It was a message from my friend. "Bro, aren't you home yet?" I replied, "Still on the metro." A few seconds later, he asked, "Which line are you coming from?" I told him, "The same line I usually go from." After that, he stopped replying. A minute later, he called me. The moment I answered, he said, "Get off at the next station." I laughed. Why? But he sounded serious. "Aaron, I'm not joking. Get off." "What happened?" There was a pause. Then he said, "That line stopped running an hour ago." I smiled at first because I thought he was joking. "What?" "I'm serious. Check the Metro app." So I did, and my stomach dropped. The last train on that line had ended at 11:40 p.m. I looked at the time, 12:18 a.m. Suddenly, I became very aware of how quiet everything was. No announcements, no sound from other coaches, nothing, just the tracks. I stood up immediately and walked into the next coach. Empty. The next one. Empty. The entire train was empty. That's when I started panicking. I called my friend back. No answer. The train began slowing down again. Another station. The doors opened. I was about to step out, but the moment the door opened, my mouth dropped wide from shock. I saw a crowd on the metro platform. 20 or 30 people were standing completely still, not moving, not talking, and every single one of them was looking directly at the metro, looking at me. Something about them felt wrong immediately. It didn't feel like they were actual humans. They weren't waiting for the train. They were watching it, watching me. Then one of them slowly raised a hand and pointed inside my coach right behind me. I spun around. Nobody was there. When I looked back, every single person on the platform had moved closer without me seeing them. Their faces hadn't changed, not even a blink. That was enough. I stepped back and fell. The doors closed, and the train started moving again. Faster this time. I could hear my own breathing echoing through the empty coach. Then the announcement system came alive. "This train does not stop anymore. Please remain seated." I froze. My mind was completely blank. I didn't know what to do or how to get off this metro. The faces I saw at the station kept coming to my mind over and over. The metro was moving quickly now. I just remember staring into the darkness between stations. That's the last thing I remember. I don't know what happened next. Maybe I passed out. Because the next thing I remember is waking up on a bench at the last station. It was early morning. I saw the clock. It was showing 7 a.m. People were everywhere at the station. Everything felt normal again. I checked my phone immediately. Dozens of missed calls from my friend. My hands were shaking as I called him back. The moment he answered, he yelled, "Where the hell were you?" "I don't know anything," I said. There was a long silence. Then he asked, "Why did you text me at 2 a.m.? "I didn't. You sent me a message." I felt cold all over again. What message? In a trembling voice, he read it aloud. "The people on the platform are inside now." I couldn't speak. "That's not all," he whispered. "You sent a picture too." "A picture of what?" I asked. "Your seat," he said. Then I checked my chat and saw a picture, but it wasn't taken by me. My blood ran cold. There was one photo taken at 2:03 a.m. It was a picture of me sitting in the metro, sleeping against the window. And behind me, reflected in the glass, were dozens of pale faces, the same faces I saw at the station, staring at me and smiling. I don't know what happened on that train. I don't know who those people were or how I ended up at the last station. All I know is that somehow I escaped and am safe now. To this day, I still avoid that line and midnight metros. But whenever I hear a metro passing, it still haunts me.